Caitlin Clark has showed her true feelings toward beat writer Scott Agnes.
I love Petty CC. Hey, Caitlin can't hide it, bro. She can't hide it, and I don't blame her. Yo, the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, damn near crashed out at the Anacon, Scott Agnes.
Got it. Please provide the 5 paragraphs, and I'll rewrite them with proper punctuation while keeping the content unchanged.
Rocking with Scott Agnes. This is crazy. This dude showed up out of nowhere. And you know when you know somebody, you like, they pop up at the house party uninvited, like, who told you to pull up? Scott Agnes showed up at the Annika like, hey, it's me, y'all.
Okay, this is wild. Caitlin Clark just had possibly the most awkward interaction ever caught on camera, and believe me, the internet is absolutely losing its mind over it. A reporter stepped up to her at a pro AAM event, probably expecting some casual banter. But what he got back, pure, unadulterated ice. We're talking visible disgust, not an ounce of eye contact, and an energy shift so brutal, it made everyone watching collectively cringe. And get this, the contrast with her other interviews from the exact same day, it's genuinely shocking.
Clark has another pro-am behind her. I'm Scott Agnes of FieldhouseFiles.com here at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida here on Wednesday afternoon, where Caitlin Clark just wrapped up another pro-am playing with Nelly Korda on the front 9, Lauren Wynn on the back 9, and an opportunity more than anything to hopefully bring attention, to bring the spot.
But hold up. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of this whole situation, seriously, drop a comment below. Have you ever been stuck with someone at work or school who just sucks the energy right out of the room the second they walk in? I want to hear your stories. All right, so Caitlin Clark is chilling at a pro golf event, doing her thing, being super professional with the media, answering questions like a champ. Then, out of nowhere, Scott Agnes from Fieldhouse Files steps up for an interview. And here's where it gets crazy. The instant she recognizes him, her entire vibe gone. Poof. Her whole demeanor does a complete 180. And believe me, this wasn't some subtle shift. We're talking a full-on, visceral reaction you could practically feel radiating off the screen.
That's exactly what happened here.
Caitlin, Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. I'm just curious, what was it like to have that competitive juices running through you once again, even though and then also putting on a show as someone who knows the fans are here to see you?
Yeah, I mean, like, these are the things that you love, like being competitive, and, you know, even when I go out and play with family or friends or whoever, like, you make it competitive. Like, you don't just go out there and hit the ball. Like, you make a game out of it. You know, you do have a 2v2, you do whatever. And I think that's what the fun part about golf. And, you know, really with anything I do in life, I'm pretty competitive. So I probably wouldn't play golf if I didn't feel those competitive juices flowing. So I think that's certainly part of it.
So, let's properly set the scene here, because I know you know that feeling. It's when someone you absolutely dread seeing just pops up out of nowhere, totally blindsiding you. Maybe it's that coworker who's a walking black hole of negativity at every single meeting. Or perhaps it's that one family member who just manages to suck the joy out of every holiday gathering. Or even that person from school you've been expertly dodging for years. Suddenly, there they are. The moment they appear, the whole atmosphere just shifts. A dark cloud rolls in. That easy smile vanishes, and your responses become clipped short and just, "How was the round today?"
A little messy off the tee. I need some lessons, but I honestly haven't played a ton, but it was fun. I think anytime you get to be out here and see these women do what they do really well, it's really inspiring and it's really fun. Obviously, this isn't the environment that I'm usually in, so it's kind of a challenge and something fun that I love that I get to do. So just really thankful that Annika and Gamebridge have me out here, and yeah, just a lot of fun. The weather turned out to be pretty nice, so everybody's like, sorry that it's kind of cold. I'm like, no, like, it was snowing in Indianapolis this past week, so this is great weather for me.
But now, all right. So Scott walks right up, introduces himself, Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files, and hits Caitlin with a super standard question about her competitive spirit at the golf event. Totally innocuous, right? But here's the kicker. Just watch Caitlin's reaction. Her head immediately drops. Eyes glued to the ground. Absolutely zero eye contact. Her entire body language is screaming, "Why is this guy here?" She looks genuinely uncomfortable, like she's already plotting her escape from the conversation. Now her actual verbal response, technically fine. She talks about being competitive, how she turns everything into a game, even golf with friends and family. Just her nature. All perfectly acceptable answers. But the delivery ice cold. You can tell she's just trying to get through it without being overtly disrespectful. No enthusiasm, no real engagement, just pure going through the motions until she can escape. And then, the second he stops talking, you can practically see the wave of relief wash over her. It's that thank goodness that's overlooked feeling, like she just survived an incredibly awkward elevator ride with an ex. The tension was palpable. And trust me, everyone watching felt every single uncomfortable second. Just talk about your golf today. How was? Now, here's where it truly gets interesting. Immediately after that awkwardness, another reporter steps up to Caitlin. This one from Visit St. Pete Clearwater, asking if she and her teammates had any fun in the area. And boom, watch what happens. A complete, utter transformation. Caitlin lights up like a Christmas tree. A huge, genuine smile. Direct eye contact the entire time. She's engaged, warm, friendly, telling stories about vacationing there as a kid, how her family owns places on the beach, even pointing out landmarks to her teammate Lexi Hull on the flight. The contrast is absolutely brutal, isn't it? Same person, same event, just minutes apart. But the energy couldn't be more polar opposite. With the second reporter, Caitlin's genuinely happy, making eye contact, animated, sharing personal anecdotes. With Scott Agnes, she could barely even look at him, giving the absolute bare minimum to avoid being overtly rude. So, what on earth is going on here? Why such a dramatic difference? Well, if you've been following the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark closely, you probably already know the scoop. Scott Agnes has been right in the middle of two major controversies this past season that clearly didn't sit well with Caitlin or her massive fan base. First, remember the whole dark side incident? Scott famously called Fever fans, specifically Caitlin's supporters, bringing a darkness with them. Basically, he branded her entire fan base as toxic and negative. Now, whether you agree with him or not, here's the problem. Caitlin has an enormous, passionate fan base that's literally been the driving force behind bringing so much attention and viewership to the WNBA. Publicly calling them the dark side isn't exactly going to win you any favors with the player they're rallying behind, is it? Caitlin is fiercely protective of her image and her fans. She knows her supporters have faced endless criticism throughout her career, some deserved, some absolutely not. So, when a reporter covering her team starts slinging terms like dark cloud at her fans, she's probably not going to forget that. And she's definitely not going to be thrilled about giving him amazing interviews or positive energy. But wait, it gets even bigger. The second controversy is arguably even more significant. Scott Agnes actually reported on an ankle injury that the Fever organization was actively trying to keep quiet. This wasn't public knowledge, he was just updating. The team was deliberately holding back, and Scott still broke the story, putting it behind a paywall and revealing information the organization explicitly wanted to keep under wraps. From a purely journalistic perspective, reporting injuries is part of the job, and teams hide info all the time. That's how sports media works. However, from Caitlin's and the team's perspective, that reporting caused some serious problems. It created division within the fan base, sparked questions about why the injury was hidden, and sent conspiracy theories flying, making the whole situation way messier than it needed to be. So now, Caitlin has to look at Scott and think about all the chaos his reporting contributed to, the division among her supporters, the unnecessary drama around something the team was trying to handle internally. And now he shows up at a prom event, introduces himself with his outlet name like she's supposed to be thrilled to see him, and expects a warm reception. Yeah, no, not happening. The body language absolutely does not lie here. Caitlin knows exactly who Fieldhouse Files is, and she knows exactly who Scott Agnes is. She's making it crystal clear, without uttering a single disrespectful word, that she's just not interested in giving him the same energy she gives other reporters. No shoutouts, no enthusiasm, no going above and beyond with her answers, just the bare minimum professional courtesy required. Think about it. If someone Caitlyn actually liked had shown up, someone she was genuinely happy to see, her reaction would have been completely different. A reporter she trusts who's been fair? She'd probably be stoked. "Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Great to see you." Big smile, positive energy, maybe even a longer chat. But with Scott? Nothing. Just trying to get through it as quickly and painlessly as humanly possible. That right there tells you everything you need to know about how she feels about him and his reporting. She's not going to cause a scene. She won't refuse questions or be openly hostile, but she's also not going to fake enthusiasm or pretend everything's fine when it clearly isn't. The side-by-side comparison of these two interviews is what makes this so glaringly obvious. If Caitlyn had been cold and distant with every reporter, you might argue she was just tired or not in the mood, but she wasn't. She was perfectly warm and engaging with the other reporter, giving a long, detailed, personal answer brimming with genuine emotion and memories, making eye contact the entire time, present and fully engaged. So, what's clear is Caitlyn is more than capable of being warm and friendly during interviews at that event. She just chose not to extend that same energy to Scott Agnes, and that choice speaks volumes about her feelings regarding his coverage of her team and her fan base. From Scott's perspective, this has to sting. He is a credentialed reporter, covers the Fever regularly, doing his job, asking legitimate questions for his outlet, and the star player of the team he covers can barely stand to look at him. That's not exactly a great working relationship, but honestly, it's a consequence of his past reporting decisions. Actions have consequences, right? And apparently, one of those consequences is Caitlyn Clark giving you the coldest interview of your entire career. Predictably, the internet had an absolute field day with this. People immediately started comparing the two interviews, dissecting every single detail of her body language, the lack of eye contact with Scott versus the sustained gaze with the other reporter, the forced smile versus the genuine one, the short, clipped answers versus the long, personal responses. Social media detectives were all over it, and the consensus was crystal clear. Caitlyn does not like this guy. Some tried to defend Scott, arguing he's just doing his job and shouldn't be penalized for breaking news or having opinions about fan bases. Others sided completely with Caitlyn, saying his dark side comments and injury reporting crossed serious lines and showed poor judgment. The debate naturally got heated, as internet debates involving Caitlyn Clark always do. But regardless of whose side you're on, the interaction itself is undeniable. You can watch the video, see exactly what happened, compare it to her other interview, and draw your own conclusions. And honestly, those conclusions pretty much all lead to the same place. Caitlyn Clark is not a fan of Scott Agnes, and she's really not interested in hiding that fact anymore. This whole situation also sparks some fascinating questions about the relationship between athletes and the media. Athletes are expected to be professional and courteous, even with reporters they don't like or agree with. But they're also human beings, right? With feelings and opinions. If a reporter says things about your fan base that you find offensive or leaks information you believe should have stayed private, are you truly obligated to treat them exactly the same as every other reporter? Or are you allowed to show a little ice, a subtle hint through body language, that you're just not happy with them? Caitlyn clearly chose the latter. She didn't refuse the interview, didn't walk away, didn't say anything explicitly disrespectful, but she made it abundantly clear through her demeanor that this was absolutely not a conversation she wanted to be having. And honestly, that's probably the most professional way she could have handled it while still making her feelings known. Scott Agnes got his interview. He got his contact, but he also got a very public, very clear demonstration of how Caitlyn Clark feels about him. And that demonstration is now plastered all over the internet for everyone to see and analyze. Whether that changes anything about how he covers the team going forward remains to be seen, but one thing's for certain, he's not getting a shout-out on the New Heights podcast anytime soon. So, that's the wild story of Caitlyn Clark's intensely awkward prom interaction. Seriously, Body language does not lie, and this one was screaming discomfort from start to finish. If you found this breakdown even slightly entertaining, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more content. And definitely drop your thoughts in the comments about who you think handled this whole situation better.